My name is Letitia Rogers.
I am Garnell Whitfield, the son of Mrs. Ruth Whitfield.
My name is John Torrey.
My name is Dr. Kenyani Davis, and I'm the Chief Medical Officer at the Community Health Centers of Buffalo. Buffalo is such an amazing and interesting place, and what makes Buffalo and Western New York so important is that Buffalo has the ability to be the microcosm of what the U.S. population will racially look like in the year of 2038 and beyond. So the truth is if we get it right here, we can get it right for the nation. But in order for us to get it right, we have to understand where we came from.
Let's begin in 1619. Right, the history of Black people in this country begins, unfortunately, with the beginning of chattel slavery in this country, when the first African slaves were brought here to the U.S. Well, wasn't the U.S. at the time, but what would become the United States. From there, we ended up having to experience centuries of being owned, as well as centuries still of oppression, systemic oppression, racial oppression, and purposeful attempt to try to strip Black people from having rights, privileges, and perhaps most importantly, recognition for, again, hundreds of years. And as a result of that process, we end up seeing a lot of people who feel comfortable attacking Black communities, who feel comfortable marginalizing Black communities, and who feel comfortable demonizing Black people. And that history, unfortunately, still continues today.
So this isn't my first time dealing with a mass shooting. August 14th of 2010, I lost my brother at the Sydney Grill shooting. They kept calling him the groom from Texas. He got killed on his wedding anniversary. And I was there for that. And I remember that fear, and I remember seeing my brother get up off the ground, brush himself off, and then he just slowly started bleeding. And I just remember my cousin grabbing him. The last thing I remember my brother saying is that he couldn't breathe. And my cousin's on the ground giving him CPR. And I remember seeing the EMT standing over her, watching her, never helped her. And he finally took my brother's pulse, and he had just lost it. And I remember seeing the EMT saying DOA, and I just was in a complete, numb and shock. And I'll never forget having to make that phone call to my mother, telling her, my mom, that he was gone on the ground.
My mother was a dark-skinned Black woman. She grew up in Mississippi, in Grand Island, moved here in Grand Island. So she endured racial bigotry and hate her entire life and fought against it. It's for her to have died at the hands of a white supremacist is difficult, very difficult. And so, we work to try to secure justice, whatever that means for her, but also to address those things that caused her death.
My name is Zanetta Everhart. I'm Zaire's mom. In the moment, it was panic, right? Of course it was panic, because unfortunately, when a mother hears that her child has been shot, right, you're contacted by the police department or something like that. Zaire's the one that called me when he got shot. While he was laying on the ground across the street from the Tops grocery store, he called me first. So, of course, anguish, panic, fear, I didn't know. I didn't even know how to feel, and I didn't know. I remember screaming at him, and I was like, what do you mean you got shot? And I was like, where on your body did you get shot?
What we have to do is significantly improve the stories, the histories, and the commentaries about Black life in this country. We have to be able to recognize Black people in a wider and a more holistic and a more full, humane way so that we're able to be recognized by our institutions in a way that shows that these kinds of events are not what we're supposed to be dealing with, are not just frowned upon because it makes people look bad or it makes cities look bad, but it's frowned upon because it's wrong. Black people don't consider themselves beasts, mongrels, demons, ne'er-do-wells. We think of ourselves as people, and that humanity has been denied for us as part of our experience here on this country. We can even think of it globally as well, but certainly here, it's part of what has to be done is changing the narrative to appreciate the humanity of Black people as a fundamental understanding for what Blackness is.